Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hold up. There was so much cleaning I had to do after the Diddy trial. Hold up. Make sure my camera's there. It is. It's focused. Hey, everybody. Happy 4th. Happy 4th. Happy 4th of July. Can we get some fireworks in here? Welcome. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Hey, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Happy 4th. Okay. Different backgrounds. That's not the background that I wanted. I wanted some fireworks. We have fireworks. Look at this. Okay, that's a strobe light. That doesn't work. Here it is. Oh, nice. Happy 4th. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys, I forgot it was 4th of July yesterday. Is that normal? I forgot. Sorry, I really did. My mind has been like in a different zone that I forgot it was 4th of July yesterday. It really was. Or excuse me, today. Yesterday. I was told it was 4th of July today. I said, well, what's so special about today? Then I remembered. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Fashawn, how are you? Hey, everybody. Welcome. Everybody come through. Hit the like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's today. I know. I just forgot. I think that's normal, right? I was going to record a video. Then I was like, I don't feel like recording. I'm going to go live and see how everybody's doing. We have so many. First of all, I have a lot of things to catch up on. Let's be very real. I'm so behind in a lot of news items. So now to kind of take a little bit of like, I'm going to slow down a little bit, and just see that I don't have to hurry up and get to inner city press or CNN or another news source. Now I'm just really going to just go right to where I need to go. But it feels a little weird to just like not go right into inner city press into the trial. It's a little bit weird, but hey, that's okay. That's okay. I got my coffee here. Hey, everybody. I'm letting the people some time to get in here. Hugs from Brazil. Oh my goodness. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody from Brazil. I thought we were done with El Diddy. Well, we got to talk about what the juror said. I guess there was a juror. Yes, I didn't see this. I think it happened yesterday, so I'm now catching up to it. There's a juror that gave an interview to CNN, so we have that interview queued up. I want to talk about it. Then we got to talk about Tiny and T.I., who is a whole different situation that's happening. We got to talk about Jared Leto, okay, which I'm also behind. I'm also like, nah, I need to catch up. We got to talk about Justin Bieber and this whole situation with, potential conservatorship, his fears and whatnot, which I think they're very, very valid fears. Okay, that's what I got to say about that. So we definitely have a lot to cover, and I have about an hour to do it because then I got to get my day started because it's 4th of July and I forgot it was 4th of July and I got to go to the store and I got to buy a bunch of things and I got to do everything. I'm spending my birthday with you, Rabbit, and happy birthday. Shout out to you. Make sure you guys drop some cakes and hearts for Sunshine H Town. Happy birthday, love. Shout out to you, everybody. It's too dangerous. Well, it's not nighttime. I don't drive at night during the holidays, like, because you get the little, the drunk drivers. You got to be careful because anything can go down. Rabbit, have you seen the Little Rod interview with DJ Academics? Hints at more charges. Yeah, we're going to talk about. I have not seen it, but we are going to talk a little bit about everything that's happening there because people are saying that there's going to be more charges. Listen, this is what I have learned about the Diddy trial. If there's anything that I have learned about the Diddy trial, is that you have to wait for like things to get done before you even kind of go out there and say it, because let's be very real, guys, there was so much misinformation when it came to Diddy and the Diddy trial and everything. And that's one thing I've learned, not to say that it wasn't true, it's just to say that this trial wasn't really what we all thought it was going to be, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of at this point where I kind of want to let things lay and see what's going on. That's what they said. They said that he could walk, he could serve no time, he could serve 20 years. I guess it's up to the judge's discretion. I'm not going to predict anything else. No more. I'm done predicting, y'all. I so am done predicting, but and I still have to recover my voice because I could still hear myself very raspy. It's probably going to take me some time, maybe a couple months to really recover from all this talking that I've done. And the thing is that it wasn't just like an hour talking, which is typically what I've done. It's just like an hour live. No, we're talking about 6, 5 hours, 12 hours, just depending on how the day was cut up. Like one morning I do 6 and then I go back live again, or, it might be another pre-recorded video that I have to do. So that's kind of how it is. You said, I think Diddy has too much stuff on people for him to go to jail, in my opinion. Anything is possible. Thank you, Maggie. Yes. And then I got, you have Liam Payne on there. I got Liam Payne that I got to talk about. So I'm very much behind, but my hope is to catch up this weekend. And that way we can start Monday kind of fresh. Okay, camera, do your thing. There it is, camera. Okay, camera's acting up. So shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You say I only come for the predictions though. Nurse Janice, how are you? All right, let's get it together. We got to talk about this juror who did an interview with CNN. And I was like, I hadn't watched this whole thing yet because let me tell you, once I logged off. I really did. Cheryl L, thank you so much. Happy 4th. Did you see the S worker is suing Cassie and Diddy? Can't LA pick up DV charges for Jane? Have statutes of limitations ran out? Is his name Clayton Howard? He's the one that said that Cassie aborted a baby or something like that. And he did a bunch of interviews. It might be the same one. There was an S worker who came forward or something. I haven't watched that. And let me tell you why. In my mind, I'm trying to balance what is like what we have concrete versus what we don't. This S worker didn't testify. I believe it was Clayton Howard, but I believe his picture was used in one of the exhibits, if I remember correctly. That one, is it that one? Thank you, Cheryl L, for the $4.99, my love. So he says he's wanting to sue Cassie and Diddy. Can LA pick up DV charges for Jane? I guess that's up to Jane or it's up to the state. Sometimes you don't even need the victim to press charges in order for them to move forward for charges. That would be up to the state to determine. Have the statute of limitations right now? I don't think so because that happened in 2024. So I don't know what the statute of limitations is for like DV or assault charges in the state of California. Cheryl L. But I think a lot of it would be, does she want to follow up? If there's one thing we know about LA and LAPD, they don't do shit. You guys know we've been talking about LAPD and exposing them. They don't do shit. Okay, they don't. They don't follow up. They don't do shit. They don't do their due diligence. They don't do anything when it comes to being for victims and whatnot. They just don't. So that's why it wouldn't surprise me if they said, no, we're not going to touch that shit. We're not. And again, I guess it's up to the Jane Doe as well. Yeah, corrupt as AF for sure. You said shout out to Rabbit. I thought I'd stop by and hit the like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. And shout out to you. Shout out to all the hospital workers working at the hospital. Shout out to you. Really? Well, I have to wonder. I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm not a fan of, I wasn't a fan of the S workers. I wasn't a fan of, freezer meat guy, the Punisher. I don't know. Are they, here's my question. So the S worker is a victim too? Let me know. Yeah, because I think it was a mutual combat situation, see through you. And Ronan has been a member for 15 months. Thank you, Ronan. Thank you, my love, Ronan. Shout out to Ronan. Thank you for supporting my channel for so freaking long. Love you, love you. I think it's mutual. It would be mutual because she also admitted to hitting him, and she, like, they both admitted to hitting each other. So I think it will be like there's a charge in the assault range that's called mutual combat. So it would be for both, if that makes sense. They could both get charges for it. I don't know if it would be just DV for Diddy, if that makes sense. Did I have that queued up as well. Did you watch the Diddy's personal chef who wrote a note to the judge saying that she's terrified if he gets out? Okay, Diane G, here's the other thing I got to say about that chef. I don't know if it's the same one. In 2016, there was a chef. We talked about it while we were covering this trial. Let me put this table down. There was a chef, guys, that sued Diddy. This chef sued Diddy for a bunch of things, unpaid wages and stuff like that, right? And the only reason why I remember is because she's a Latina. So I don't think it's the same one, but there was a different chef who worked for Diddy in the household, right? And she was assaulted. She was allegedly, it was said that she had also claimed to have been SA'd as well. The reason why I remember her lawsuit is because it got quietly settled. This was back in 2016. So she came to mind. Somebody dropped her name in the chat. We were live and we were talking about her because it was said that she was she had been yelled at by Diddy. She goes into Diddy's room to let him know that his food was ready, and he was having like S with Gina. Okay. And it was like nothing. Like she had to walk in. She was kind of harassed. So there was a lot to this story. I don't know if it's the same one. I don't think it is. It might be a different one. But I definitely have that queued up over here. Shauna B, thank you for being a member for 23 months. Thank you, Shauna B. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Hold up. All right, so let's get to the juror, guys, because I'm gonna be here forever if we don't get to it. And then I'm gonna pull. We have the chef, and then we have some other news from this related to all of this. And then, guys, Tiny and Ti in 2021 they had allegations, and they went nowhere. 31 women. This is where Tyrone Blackburn comes along and did absolutely nothing for nobody. This is why my disdain exists for Tyrone. That's why I don't like Tyrone Blackburn. From that first Tiny and Ti case, from the first jump, I always side-eyed him. I did. And they said that they had 31 victims of Tiny and Ti. So we're going to get into this, but let's get into this because I am late. I'm late.
I think reading all my notes and looking back at the evidence, I probably would have reached the same conclusion as the other jurors.
What was it about that charge?
I don't, the thing with the, when it, because we were asked and the judge had instructed us that we have to find, we have to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. And I think there was always a little bit of doubt in people's mind. And I think it was a tough case to prove, especially the first one. And, there was always a little bit of doubt there, even from the beginning.
Why did you doubt?
I think some of the charges, some of the witnesses, if you look at it one way, but then when you were listening to the defense, you could see it's their way as well.
Were there any witnesses that made you think, I don't believe this?
There was one that I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like it was almost like watching like TV. Mm. It was like, like when I think her name was Dawn Richard, that one. Mm-hmm.
This is okay. So guys, this is George. George is an alternate juror. Now, this is what George explains at the beginning of the interview. He said, he didn't even know he was an alternate juror. So the judge didn't actually tell them that they were alternate jurors. They were just jurors altogether. And then at the very end, he finds out basically at the very end of the trial that he was an alternate juror. So they had their 12 picked out, and then they had the additional other ones. I believe it was 5 or 6, right? Can't even remember anymore. And so he was part of that. So he was taking copious amounts of notes. I believe like 350 plus documents of notes that he was taking because he didn't know. You didn't know if you were going to be juror number 1 or juror number, outside of the 12, right? So he was kind of treating it like, I'm going to just take as many notes as I can. Okay.
Mm-hmm. When she on cross-examination, I mean, I never saw such a cross-examination. It was very impressive to watch.
What was it about it?
I think just how the defense, got into her and really made her, look very not credible. I mean, I even wrote in my notebook that it was like a takedown.
Really? And that was pretty early on.
That was pretty early on.
From Don Richard, he didn't feel like she was credible. And again, this is, his opinion, of course. I have to think back because Don Richard are the transcripts that we did read all and we reviewed. And so he felt like she was not credible. She was one of the first. I mean, it was Cassie, then there was the workers, but she was probably like the first week, if not the second week of trial when it came to Don Richard. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that whole situation. And mind you, Don Richard is one of the ones that sued Diddy, okay, in the civil lawsuit.
From the opening statements, did you have a mindset of who you thought had a better case?
No, I think overall, from the way I look at it, both sides presented really good. Both sides presented themselves well. We were very impressed with the prosecution and the defense, how they, the professionalism, how they carried themselves. I mean, it was really good lawyering, as they say.
Racketeering is notoriously a complex case. Did you feel that the prosecution presented enough evidence to support that there was even an enterprise?
I think they did the best that they could, but I think it was a tough case to prove.
Why?
I mean, when you look at the charges, kidnapping, arson, forced labor, the government had one side, but then the defense, they had some pretty good rebuttals to it. So I mean that I think added some doubt always, and I think in people's mind.
You didn't hear from some of the people the government said were co-conspirators, like employees,
like Christina Karam, and
example,
and
or
D-Rock,
D-Rock.
yeah.
Did that affect your thoughts about the case?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have wanted to hear from them?
We always thought that maybe we would hear from them, but maybe we also understood maybe why they wouldn't be called.
Why?
Because maybe they didn't want to testify, or they wouldn't really be proving the case, or maybe it would be not advantageous to be called. So, but honestly, we were just waiting till the end, until when the judge gave his instructions and how to interpret the law. Because I think everyone really didn't have anything made up, their mind made up, or in any way. It was really, everyone was waiting to see how the definitions and how everything was going to be interpreted, and what they were to be looked at. Exactly.
So important.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the sex trafficking cases, because of course.
Now, mind you, he wasn't at deliberations, guys. Like they just needed the 12. He was just an alternate. So for those that are saying, well, it was his, I mean, he's just giving you his impressions, guys. I mean, isn't that what we want? We want people to be honest about what they're seeing, whether you like it or not, or whether you feel like people got it wrong. We want these people to be honest, right? Because the last thing we want is, something to go wrong in that situation. You may not like the way in which he's saying things. I think if I remember correctly, Miss Westmoreland, the lawyer, had a Perry Mason moment. Even the judge called that on the transcripts with Don Richard's cross-examination. He's letting everybody know he felt like she was not credible. He didn't say it was Jane. He didn't say anybody else. He just said it was Don. Okay.
Charges. Obviously, Cassie Ventura testified visibly pregnant for days.
Yes.
How did her testimony impact you in your understanding of the case?
It did. I listened. We listened very intently. It was, I think, 5 days or whatever of thing, and it was very riveting. It was very riveting testimony, and very credible testimony.
You believed her?
I mean, I think we did. I think we did. I mean, she wouldn't have done all this just to come up there and lie about everything. So no, I don't think even the defense didn't come out and say or anything like that. Did
the money that they talked about in terms of a civil settlement she received, did that color her testimony for you at all?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No.
Did you look at the defendant, Diddy Combs, differently after her testimony?
No, I didn't really look at him too much. I mean, I always looked at him because my point of view was just literally at him. Like some people were on the side, but I was more in the corner. So I was always staring at him. But I don't think he was mostly just very composed and talking with his lawyers and very in control, it seemed like. Because I think I'm not really familiar too much with cases, and I don't really follow cases in court, so I don't know how defendants usually act. But sometimes what I've heard in from the news is that some defendants, they just sit very stoically. They don't interact with their lawyers. They just let their lawyers talk and go. But he was very, talking with them, writing notes, doing that. So you could tell that he was, he was fighting for himself.
He was present in the trial. That's what he's trying to say.
You saw some very graphic images, videos. You heard very sexual and graphic details. What was that like, hearing that? And how did it impact how you viewed the case?
No, they were very graphic, and but I think overall, it was we're looking at it from one side, and it was definitely riveting and eye-opening.
What did you see on the videos? The press wasn't able to see it in real time.
Yeah. No, I mean, they were showing some of there was both the freak-offs and hotel nights, as they were called, from both of them. But it was...
what were they showing those videos?
They showed, well, again, the defense and the prosecution showed different clips, so they were very selective. Like the prosecution was showing more, just Cassie just sitting around.
The defense showed that?
Defense showed that, yeah.
Just her sitting around not engaging in sexual activity?
Yes.
The prosecution, when you had to have your headphones on and otherwise, what were you seeing then?
There was sexual activity, but I mean, it wasn't really.
Was it force?
No, it didn't. It didn't seem forced. It was actually like pretty tame.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she?
It was just a lot of
he's watching the videos and he said it didn't seem forced. It was actually pretty tame. I'm wondering, I haven't watched this whole thing, guys, but I'm wondering if he took into consideration that they might have been rugged. Or, I mean, does that play a factor? I'm just letting you guys know what he's saying, okay? Whether I agree with them or not, I do wonder what was taken into consideration when these videos were being watched by the jury, especially given that a lot of the testimony from Cassie, from Jane Doe, from, from the prosecution's opening statement is that there were rugs, okay? So keep that in mind.
Rubbing oil and stuff on there. It wasn't anything too graphic.
Let me ask you, this jury that deliberated did not find sex trafficking when it came to Cassie Ventura. They also didn't find it when it came to Jane. And I want to ask you about Jane in a moment. But did it surprise you when it came to Cassie Ventura that they did not convict on sex trafficking?
No, I think it was a difficult thing to prove. And I think there was always some doubt, whether, because, I think what the judge says, it has to be forced. And I think the defense did show some messages where it didn't seem that it was forced.
Oh, her text messages. She talked about it.
Yeah.
That was really important to you to consider.
I think that was one aspect. Yes.
Did that make you feel that it was consensual?
It did seem like it. Yeah.
Talk to me about Jane.
Even in the videos and everything. Everything seemed very consensual.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
How about with Jane? Obviously, she testified for several days, very emotional at times.
It was. Yeah.
What did you think of her credibility?
Yep.
Did you believe her?
Please keep in mind, he wasn't in the deliberation rooms, guys. His name is George. He was an alternate juror. He wasn't in the deliberation rooms, guys. He wasn't. So he can't speak for the whole jury. He's only speaking for himself, guys. So he wasn't in the room. For those that are saying, well, what the jury? No. We don't know. We don't. I said it earlier. He didn't know. So how it started, and we can go back to it again. How it started was, he didn't know if he was one of the 12s or the alternate. So he was taking notes. He was taking he said he was taking copious amounts of notes, 350 pages of notes, because he wasn't sure if he was going to be a juror number 12 or an alternate or what. He didn't find out he was an alternate until afterwards. That's what they did. They wanted to make sure that they were paying attention throughout the whole trial. So that would make sense, I think. Although I knew I was a selected juror when I was a juror, if that makes sense. I was one of the 12, right? So that was interesting. So for him, he's only speaking for himself as far as how he interprets the trial. Doesn't mean that he's right, doesn't mean that he's wrong or anything like that. He's just giving you his opinion. He just wasn't speaking for the jury. And yes, he can speak to the media. Yes, you can speak to the media after your service. Yes, they ask you, that the judge will tell you to refrain from talking about what happened in deliberations, but he's not talking about deliberations. He's giving you his opinion. So, I mean, there's nothing you can do once the trial's over and this jury decides to speak. They can give exclusive interviews to just about anybody. They could write a book about it. If he wants to write a book, he could totally do it. It's in his right. He's not bound to it anymore, if that makes sense. Like, nothing's going to happen to him over speaking. And again, he's just an alternate juror. He's giving you guys his opinion. Okay, let me hit play.
I think it was very again, riveting, long testimony. And I did believe her, at least on some parts. Some parts were a little bit didn't add up as much. Seemed a little strange.
What part seemed strange to you?
One part for me that seemed a little strange was the night, I think, when Jane was in, when they had the fight.
Yeah.
It just, the timing seemed a little like you going from like one closet to another closet to it just, something didn't add up there.
How about the impact when you heard that her rent was being paid or her lawyer is being paid by the defendant? Did that surprise you?
That was surprising, yeah, and it was still being paid.
What did you think when you heard that?
Wow, it was surprising.
I want to ask you as well about, obviously I'm talking about Diddy as if I know him. Like, we know his name because he's, this very famous person. Did the fact that he was so famous, did that impact you in any way? Did you know him?
No, I did not know him.
Do you know his music at all?
No, I don't. I didn't really listen to his music.
Wow.
So seeing him was just a stranger.
Pretty much. I know of him, and I know, but I don't really follow his music or the rap industry in general. So that might have been why. I think a lot of the jurors, I think if you look at their backgrounds, I don't think they were they didn't follow this or that. I mean, that's probably why they were chosen. I was never expected to be chosen.
You guys are so funny in the chat. I love it. Because you guys are talking you're talking about the blinky. Y'all are talking about the blinky. Well, Elizabeth Holmes. We talked about Elizabeth Holmes here. She has her eyes. She never blinks. So is that suspect too? I love it. Angie Mo says the OJ jurors wrote a book and then made the comment that being at the jury was the best thing that ever happened to them because they got rich. It was sick. I told you guys, these jurors can write books. They can give interviews. They can get paid for so much money for doing things like that. I mean, that's how it is, but it's them. Now, he wasn't in deliberations. Keep that in mind. He was excused. So he can't tell you why they landed in the decision that they made. Although he says, I agree with that decision. That's the thing. You think that the blinking is extreme? Well, you know how Elizabeth Holmes, she doesn't blink. She just keeps her eyes open. She goes like this. That's what she does. So, I mean, I don't know. Y'all pay attention to the interesting things, but hey, hit the like button, by the way. Thank you.
To be honest.
Yeah. Well,
I wasn't even looking for this at all.
Who would be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But let me ask you, the other jurors, when you would talk to them, I know you weren't allowed to deliberate at all in this, but when you talk to them, were they familiar with who he was? Did his celebrity status seem to impact them at all?
No, I don't think so. No, I think everyone was really waiting for the interpretation of the law. And
is that because you were confused about the case or because you just wanted to know your marching orders?
I think we wanted to know our marching orders and how we need to look at everything. I think we were really, I think, at least for me, we want to be, and we are asked to be as impartial as possible. So we needed to know, you hear both sides of, one side, the other side. And it's very important to know what we're actually supposed to be, ruling at and how we're supposed to be looking at it from the judge.
There was a juror who was excused close to the end of the trial. What did you know about that and why?
We weren't told, what happened. I mean, I think someone had mentioned that it was, I think he lied about where he was from or something like that. But really, we were kind of kept in like isolation from the whole day. Not really told much. Told to not follow any news or turn off everything. Don't talk to anyone. Don't talk among yourselves about the case, which we followed. We really followed the judge's instructions. At least I did too.
So when that person, when that person was no longer in the chair after seeing them there for 7 weeks on end, or how many weeks it was in at that point, did you think it was odd? Did you have concerns?
No. I mean, that's why they have, they call 18 people because then they knew it was a long case and there's probably going to be someone's going to get sick or someone's going to drop out. So that's why.
Which did happen.
Would you have wanted to hear Diddy testify? Would it have made a difference to you?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
It wouldn't have made a difference because it would have added to your understanding or because you'd heard enough?
I think we heard enough. I don't know if it would have helped or hindered. I haven't really thought about that as much. Yeah. But I think it was really helpful again in the end, at least for what we were looking forward to, what I was looking forward to the most was just the 61-page judge instructions of how we're supposed to be charged the law.
And even the 61 pages was confusing to them. Oh my God, you guys, why are you calling him Mr. Bean? Mr. Bean? You guys said it's Mr. Oh my, you guys are so messy. Leave this man alone. Literally, you guys said that he looks like Mr. Bean? I don't see it. See, you guys are too much. Leave Mr. Bean alone. Leave that man alone, all right? Okay? Yeah, what's his name? Rowan, I can never say his name. Atkinson? You said it's his love child? Oh my. Now I can't see it anymore. You guys are yo. Hold up, let me see. Now I can't unsee it. Let's see. I got to do a side by side. Oh my God. All right. Can we get serious, please? Order in the chat. I don't have my gavel. I put my gavel up. Order in the chat. Okay. Let's hit play. Okay. Let's hit play.
They did find him guilty of those transportation to engage in prostitution charges. the prosecution was being very sarcastic and laughing at the idea that these men were just being paid for their time. How did you see that statement?
Huh?
You mean the defense?
Well, the prosecution said that, well, yes, you're right. The defense said that they were being paid for the time. The prosecution was mocking that. Who did you believe?
No, I think the evidence to show that there was the transportation of prostitution, I think was overwhelming, and that's why the jury found them guilty on those two counts.
If you had been,
because the prosecution, not only they showed the hotel records, the bank records, the flight information. For that, I think that they proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay.
If for some reason you were to ever talk to Diddy, what would you tell him about how you saw this trial?
To be honest, I really wouldn't want to talk to him or anyone associated with that. I just wanted to kind of tell my side of the story, but I really wouldn't want to associate with him or any of the people that are with him.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
And it's about the video from the Intercontinental Hotel that you saw a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
They did it. Sometimes they did it like frame by frame by frame.
What did you think of that? Did you see it enough? Too much? Too little? What?
I mean, it was a very bad video. I think they showed it. I think they showed it enough. I mean, they tried to show it both sides, and
did it make a difference to you in the actual charges that you would have had to deliberate over? Because he wasn't charged with.
He wasn't charged with domestic violence. No.
Did that surprise you?
No, because I don't think domestic violence is a federal crime. So.
Oh, this is interesting what he's saying, because I don't think domestic violence, the DV, is a federal crime. Jolene says, if Quentin Tarantino and Rowan Atkinson had a baby, it would be this guy. Lord, he does give me Quentin Tarantino vibes. He does look a little like Quentin Tarantino. Rose Gold, thank you so much for being a member for 18 months, love. Shout out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Listen to what he just said. I thought that this was important. Hold up. Let me see if I can go back a little bit.
Over? Because he wasn't charged with.
He wasn't charged with domestic violence. No.
Did that surprise you?
No, because I don't think domestic violence is a federal crime. So.
Did it cloud the way you saw the rest of the charges by seeing that video?
No, I think we looked at just what we were supposed to be, what the judge had said we were supposed to look at, and then based off of the evidence that was presented to us, they ruled in that way.
Do you think he should go to prison?
That's for the judge to decide.
Ooh.
I mean, he was found guilty on both counts. So we're the sentencing is not up to us. And not up to me. It's up to the judge.
But it's an opinion. Answer the question. What is your opinion, alternate juror George?
By the way, we were all impressed with the judge and how he was. So that the jury, I can't speak for the jury because I was an alternate, but I think we all really much liked the judge on this case. We found him to be very fair, very stern. He was no nonsense. But the way he conducted himself, at least from what we saw, because again, we only saw the beginning, and they always had, when they had sidebars, they would have the white noise, so couldn't actually hear what's being discussed. But we were always impressed with the judge.
Hundreds of pages of notes, weeks of trial. Thank you for telling us what you were thinking.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, for those that missed the very beginning, this is kind of where it started. Let me just play a little bit
Diddy
here.
Combs trial. George is joining us right now. This was 7 weeks of your life, hearing all of this testimony. You were an alternate. You did not deliberate, but did you agree?
He was an alternate. He did not deliberate. Okay. So he doesn't know what happened inside the room with the other 12 jurors.
With the final verdict.
I understood the final verdict. And I think if because I took a copious amount of notes overall, I took 350 pages worth of notes. Because at the end, we weren't told who was an alternate, who was the main juror until literally the last second when they were reading when the judge was reading his entire statement. At the end, it was like, the first 12 of you are the jurors, the last 5 are the alternates.
Did you guys hear that? So he didn't even know whether he was an alternate or a main juror. They didn't know anything. So he was like, well, I better take notes because I don't know if I'm going to be a main or an alternate. I got to take this on. That's what he did. So just so people are aware, he did not know what he was walking. He could have been a 12 and he didn't even know it up until the last minute. Because, yeah, isn't that crazy? Because usually because when I did jury duty, I mean, I think I was like 11 or 12. I can't even remember. It's been many years. But literally, that's what you do. Like, you kind of know what you're walking into when it comes to something like that. So that's interesting. That is interesting, my friends.
So we didn't know. Even in the jury room, no one treated everyone. We all were equal because we didn't know who was who.
Would you have acquitted him on RICO?
I think reading all my notes and looking back at the evidence, I probably would have reached the same conclusion as the other jurors.
What was it about that charge?
I don't, the thing with the
Okay, so I'm gonna stop right here. So, anyways, that is the only interview that we have. I mean, I would love to see, because I'm nosy, and I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I'm nosy, and a lot of you guys are nosy too, and that's okay. That is okay. Okay, that is okay. But I would love to have seen an interview from one of the 12. But I mean, because that's what they can do now. But I do wonder, is one of the 12 going to speak? What are they going to do? I'm sure that I'm sure everybody knows who they are at this point, because even though their information is not necessarily public on transcripts, somebody found juror number whatever, alternate juror. CNN found who the alternate juror was. So that should tell you that finding these jurors is not going to be very hard. The internet is going to do what it does. So I have a feeling we'll probably hear more from other jurors, because that's just how it is. That's just how it is. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay, so I want to get to this piece of news right here. All right. So there was this is Diddy's former personal chef, who claims to have witnessed alleged Cassie abuse, wrote letter to judge asking for his bail to be denied. I fear for my safety. Hope he gets the full 20. Okay.
One of the actual minor victims to Sean Combs' physical assault while I was employed by him. As someone who was a witness to the abuse towards Cassandra Ventura Fine during my time of working for Sean Combs, I would just like to say that this is a grave miscarriage of justice. And I would like to also address that last year on March 20th, I was contacted by the federal government. They showed up at my door with badges. I refused to speak to them because I was, as one of the actual...
What? Wait, what?
I was terrified. So I was served with a grand jury subpoena that day before they left my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I confided in 3 different people about that visit from the feds. Terrified is actually an understatement. By April 11th of 2024, I was being contacted by Sean Combs' initial lawyer, Aaron Dyer. I have a voicemail that he left and text messages stating that Mr. Combs was aware of the visit from the government and that they would like to extend to cover my legal fees. I was terrified.
Whoa.
These are facts. This, in my opinion, was witness tampering. I was supposed to testify this year on May 20th.
Why didn't she?
I was in New York. It was announced. It was on CNN that I was supposed to be testifying.
Why didn't she get called? Do you see what I'm saying? It seems like the prosecution. Why didn't she get called?
And I was pulled because I flipped out on the government. These are also facts. I want to be very clear. As a victim, as a former employee of Sean Combs, I do not feel safe. I am extremely traumatized. I do not know where to go from here. These are facts. Submit my own letter to the judge. I stand by everything that I said. I knew that he beat Cassie Ventura fine in 2009. I know that she was dragged from the vehicle. Okay. I know that I saw her 2 days later at the London hotel.
Here's my question is, why did she go off on the government though? Yeah, she did. She did see through you. She said that. So why did she flip on the government? She would have been a good witness. Why did she flip on the government? Was she scared? What happened? That's the question that I have. Why did she flip on the government? Doesn't sound like she wasn't unwilling to cooperate, but what made her flip to overall? I have a lot of questions, but okay.
When me and one of his assistants brought her a bag, okay? This was a miscarriage of justice. And beyond any of this, I don't really have anything more to say. And I really don't know where to go from here. Just know that I am terrified and I am traumatized. And it's honestly submit my own letter to the judge.
Okay, hold up. She said what?
I stand by everything that I said. I knew that he beat Cassie Ventura fine in 2000.
Yeah, we saw this part. So she did write a letter. Let me see. Dear Chef Gordon, this is Erin Dyer. I'm Sean Diddy Combs' attorney. Oh, these are messages, guys. I left you a voicemail last week, but wanted to follow up. I had been told you have been contacted by law enforcement and I want an attorney to represent you. Let me know if you want to discuss or have us help with this. Feel free to call or text me anytime at your convenience, Erin. So why was Erin Dyer? I'm a Sean Diddy Combs attorney. I have been told you've been contacted by law enforcement and might want an attorney to represent you. Diddy's attorney at the time was contacting this chef. Her name is Gordon. This chef to see if she wanted representation because the government contacted her about his client. And this is why she said it was witness tampering. And I guess her information got leaked to CNN or something. It got leaked to CNN. And then it was kind of like, well, you know, her name has been put out there. So she flipped on the government. She got scared. How did they know that? How did they know? Maybe the government told Diddy's lawyers, like, this is the list of people that we're going to be interviewing. So Erin Dyer, being a lawyer for Diddy's, like, well, maybe you might want a lawyer. We'll pay for your lawyer. Huh? Jane Doe's lawyer was paid by Diddy, right? Why is that even allowed? Why is that even allowed? That's a great question. I have no idea. Okay, let's keep going. This is the letter that the chef wrote to the court. Now I'm going to move my tab over here so I can read it. What is this? No, excuse me. This is a letter that is to Gordon. All right. Greetings. We command you that with that all and singular business and excuses being laid aside, you appear and attend before the grand jury of the people of the United States for the Southern District of New York at the United States Courthouse. Okay. So she was being told that she needed to appear. Her appearance was April 2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m. to testify and give evidence in regards to an alleged violation of federal law, not to depart the grand jury without leave thereof or of the United States attorney, and that you bring with you and produce at the above time and place the following: journals, notes, photographs, or other records and material I can't even read. memorializing or related to your employment by Sean Diddy Combs, P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy. Failure to appear and produce any items thereby demand will constitute contempt of court and will subject you to civil sanctions and criminal penalties. In addition to the other penalties of the law, Damian Williams of the acting United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. And isn't Damian Williams the one that left? That's his signature. Emily Johnson, Smizer, what is it? Steiner, Madison, Smizer, and the other attorneys are there. Their signatures are down there. So she was basically dragged into the grand jury, and she had to produce a bunch of things. And the chef further writes in here, I know this to be factual. She highlighted, and I believe this is out of Cassie's lawsuit, in January 2009, after Mr. Combs learned that Miss Ventura spoke to another music manager at a Los Angeles party, he became enraged. She had hoped speaking to this manager would allow her to further grow her career and that Mr. Combs would be happy for her. But instead, he became extremely angry and pulled her out of the club where the party was taking place. In the car leaving the club, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura, pushing her into a corner. I think we heard about this. He stomped on her face. Her face was bleeding profusely. And this is where she had to stay at a hotel. So we're not going to read that whole thing. So she writes this letter on July 2nd to the judge, right? July 2nd was what? Friday? Right? Thursday, Friday? My goodness. What day are we in? Oh, today's Friday. I'm sorry. Lord have mercy. I'm telling you, my weeks are so crazy. Wednesday. Today's Friday. Okay. Dear Judge, I'm writing to express my grave concern over the possible release of Sean Combs. I believe he should be held without bail until his sentencing is determined. Thank you for your time and attention in this case so far. You are appreciated. I know you did not hear from me during the trial, but I was in fact listed as a witness to Mr. Combs' abuse towards Cassie Ventura. Fine. You also heard testimony about Mr. Combs assaulting me inside of his New Jersey estate. There has been a clear pattern of physical abuse and financial abuse on his part for years. Releasing him now would be unjust. Those of us who were subpoenaed are terrified at the possibility of his retaliation against us. I'd like to express how terrifying this whole ordeal has been for me personally. This past year and a half has been traumatizing. This verdict is devastating. His release would be sending a dangerous message to all the survivors and victims of these types of crimes. I fear for my safety upon his release. I ask that you consider all the victims and witnesses involved in this case. Thank you for your careful consideration. She wrote a letter. Deontay Nash wrote a letter. Cassie Ventura's lawyers wrote a letter. Let's see. Deontay Nash's letter is there, and the chef put it on her IG page. Okay. Just so people are aware. So this was a post that she wrote about Cassie. Seeing Cassie be re-victimized in the press, on the blogs, through that disingenuous apology throughout the past year over and over again has been truly disgusting to see. I cannot in good conscience remain silent. He was physically abusing her for a long time. These are facts. To say, and I don't think that they're, again, using the defense's argument is that they're not disputing the DV, that was something that they did, that he was doing to her. A lot of people are saying that. This is her in pictures, okay? This is her.
Today's a great victory.
Overall, we're not going to review that because we've seen this already. But I mean, what do you guys think in the comments? Well, so I guess she wanted to testify, and then something happened that made her like flip. She was on the list to testify. Why didn't she just go through it? Why did she flip on the government like that? Right? Now, let's be real. She's not the only chef that has spoken out. Diddy has had a thing about chefs. I'm sorry. This is how it is. This is in 2015. Her name was Cindy Ruedas, and there was a lawsuit. Diddy's former personal chef settles work claim suit against the rapper, or with the rapper. Okay. So it was said that Ruedas, who said her duties included shopping for groceries, stocking the house with the kitchen with food, clearing and organizing the pantry and preparing meals for Diddy and his guests, also alleges she was exposed to harassing, hostile work environment. For example, Rueda stated that in August of 2015, she arrived late because of traffic, and Diddy and that Diddy, present with house guest Gina yelled an obscenity at her and then asked, can't you see I have company? And then I guess he walked in when they were having okay. Upon entering, I noticed Mr. Combs and his guests were indisposed and engaging in activity. She got in trouble for that, I guess, for walking in there. Rueda said that when she finished making breakfast, she brought food to Diddy's bedroom, and knocked first, then entered to set up the meal. So she knocks, she's not hearing anything. She goes in there, she goes in the room, and they're having in the room. So I guess that became a thing. She was also not a witness. There's another chef. I don't know about what it is about this man and the chefs. He can't keep the chefs. I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? But this is what's happening. Let me know what you guys think about the CNN interview with the juror and what the chef is saying. And, the rumor is, and I guess it's a rumor because it's not fact. We don't know yet. It's been said, it's been alleged that there is this thing happening where they're expecting more charges to come through for Diddy. I haven't read anything that would, this is the thing about the Diddy news. And like I said, I told you guys earlier, I'm trying to be very careful not to just spew a bunch of things without actually having, I don't know, a government official statement or something, or maybe a lawsuit or something more concrete, because they say that there's going to be more charges coming through for Diddy. This is not even like, they're not done figuring this out. There's going to be more charges coming through. So I don't know what that means. I heard they were out of California. We don't know at all. What about the gun charges? That's the question that I have. What about the defaced weapon? People get a lot of years for this. I've heard this too. Samantha, you heard it too? I don't know. No. Okay. We got to talk about Tiny and T.I. Now, once upon a time in 2021, all right, we got to switch over. Once upon a time in 2021, Tiny and T.I. were facing the same situation, almost same. No, I wouldn't say RICO because they didn't really get to that part, but they were facing similar allegations to what Diddy was facing. Now, I know Tiny has come in favor and supporting of Diddy. Something about, I think she said something to the effect of, just because you're a freak in the bedroom doesn't make it a crime. That type of situation. Okay, that's her prerogative. Let me tell you what happened in 2021. Yeah, March 2021 with Tiny and T.I. The woman in the middle, this is Sabrina Peterson, okay? This one right here. I don't know if y'all can see her. This one. She was really close friends with Tiny. They were like in a little group with Shekinah Joe. This was like a little thing. They had a little group going on, right? They were really good friends for many years. Tiny decides to cut off Sabrina Peterson, the woman in the middle. And it's been rumored that Sabrina Peterson and Tiny, they were hooking up and stuff like that. And then finally, Tiny got tired of it or whatever. So they kind of outed her. Sabrina gets mad and decides to go on an IG live and make pretty explosive allegations in 2021 about Tiny and T.I., specifically that there are women out there, trafficked victims. There's so many victims out there that have been hurt by Tiny and T.I. They were made to sign NDAs. Okay. They were made to do a bunch of things. Sabrina Peterson said that T.I. held a gun to her head at one point. Okay. So then here comes Tyrone Blackburn. Nobody knew who Tyrone Blackburn was back then. Nobody knew. The reason we learned about Tyrone Blackburn is because Sabrina Peterson introduced Tyrone Blackburn to everybody. Okay. So then we start hearing Tyrone Blackburn and Sabrina Peterson on IG Live. Tyrone Blackburn being a lawyer and Sabrina Peterson talking about the Tiny and T.I. allegations. They have 31 victims. From there, Tyrone Blackburn goes on a whole PR tour, interviewing with the Jasmine brand, interviewing with local news, interviewing with a bunch of people about how he's interviewed 31 victims of Tiny and T.I. and how some of these victims had been trafficked across state lines. Some of these victims there was so much that had happened. Then, and not only was it Tyrone Blackburn, here comes Lisa Bloom jumping in too, confirming that she had a client that said the same similar patterns that others were saying about Tiny and T.I. 31 victims. Sabrina Peterson continues with the narrative as well. And she decides, I'm going to start a website, an IG page. And it was called Not Your Model Victim, where she is essentially grabbing the stories of these victims and putting them up there so that people can hear the stories. One of those stories even said that Nelly was part of this the situation too, that they had been assaulted by Nelly, Tiny, and T.I. Young people that were aspiring artists that wanted to, be artists, of course, hooked up with Tiny and T.I., and then they were rugged, and then they were essayed multiple times by multiple people in the circle. Tiny and T.I., it was alleged that they were making these people sign NDAs. Doesn't that sound kind of similar to a lot of the civil lawsuits that we have seen of Diddy? Right? Similar patterns, similar to the Busby lawsuits. There's a similarity. The reason why Tyrone Blackburn's lawsuit was so explosive and it caught everybody's attention is because he was literally the lawyer that wrote the Dr. Seuss lawsuit, where he was using pictures and there was misspellings everywhere in these lawsuits, dates wrong, events wrong, that people on the internet started pulling apart some of the lawsuits or some of the things that Tyrone Blackburn was saying about Tiny and T.I. Okay? I'm going to pull that out there because I've looked at Tiny T.I. since 2021. All right? Tyrone Blackburn goes on record and says, I have written letters to the DAs, the general attorneys, the DAs, all these people, to have Tiny and T.I. be investigated by Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and other districts. Los Angeles and Las Vegas comes back and says, guess what? Statute of limitations has expired, or guess what? There wasn't enough to investigate. We hear 31 victims. This is a very important number. It went from 31 victims to zero. What happened? Sabrina Peterson decides to file a defamation lawsuit in California. Doesn't use Tyrone Blackburn as a separate lawyer. She loses, okay? But there is still a portion of that defamation lawsuit, I'm not a lawyer, that is still very much active, okay? Tiny and T.I.'s name got somewhat cleared. They still lost a lot of deals at a lot of networks. They had the family hustle. That went away. A bunch of things went away, right? Tiny and T.I. kind of moved on, but it never really escaped a lot of us who have followed this, the fact that, well, what happened to 31 victims? Sabrina Peterson decides to do a lie detector test about the gun situation. She decides to do a lie detector test on IG Live. First of all, that's not okay. That was deemed to be like, you can't do anything with the lie detector test, guys. You really can't. A lot of courts don't see that as a valid thing. So it surprises me that here we are, 13 hours ago, we have this happening right now. So, oops, Sabrina Peterson says Tiny had to eat every box in ATL to get a ring, and alleges T.I. and Tiny passed off a trafficked woman to their son King in explosive new claims. What? Now, I don't know if any of this is true or what, but I will say this: Sabrina Peterson is not a very credible person. I will say that. She's not credible. She's not, guys. She's not. It's not that I'm victim shaming her or anything. No. She is not a credible person. She's just not. She has no credibility whatsoever. Feel free to do a little research on her and you will see. I had to dig from like when she went to jail, when she was with Big Meech, when she was going all the way back there. We pulled all this stuff, a lot of stuff. Okay, she's just not a credible person. She flaunts to be this gazillionaire, millionaire. Actually, there's been a lot of allegations against her, that she has scammed a lot of people through her glam university, allegedly through her glam university courses. A lot of people have called her out. She is not very credible at all, y'all. So in my mind, this was the biggest red flag. Because if I could see this about Sabrina Peterson, independent of Tyrone Blackburn, why couldn't Tyrone Blackburn see this about Sabrina Peterson? And what did Tyrone Blackburn do? Absolutely nothing. If there were any alleged victims of Tiny and T.I., he fucked up royally here. He did. He did. He didn't do nothing for these victims. Nothing. Lisa Bloom faded in the background. Nothing. No statement about the victim that she was representing. What happened? And Tyrone Blackburn continued on to represent victims pro bono. Now, he got called out in the Diddy trial. Don't forget this, guys. People tend to forget this. He got called out at the Diddy trial. For what? It's in the transcripts. Bana Brianna Bangolo said what? I had to fire him. Why? Because he was making demands without my knowledge. Ask Tyrone Blackburn what happened to the 31 victims of Tiny and T.I. And this is the shit that makes me mad, guys, because I don't know if there is or if there isn't, but how do we let go of people coming forward, making allegations the way that they have? And this woman in the middle, Sabrina Peterson, recording these allegations. There's a lot of IG videos, some of which are deep down in the YouTube algorithm, some of which I still have that I've never really posted. That she went out there and she was collecting these victims. She was creating merch for victims. Okay. She wanted this to be a business out of this. So I need to understand what happened here. What happened? What happened? Shekinah was kind of like, she was a friend. She came in defending Tiny and T.I., and then they kind of fell out too. Shekinah's not even like, she doesn't even talk to Tiny anymore. Remember there was a Shekinah and Tiny show? They had a little show going on. What happened there? This goes deep. This goes deep. So either Sabrina's doing this because there's an opportunity for clout, or this really did happen and we don't know. I don't know. But I have a lot of questions about a lot of this. And I don't believe 1 ounce of what Sabrina Peterson says, because she's been demonstrated to have been a liar time and time again. Independent of Tyrone Blackburn, he couldn't even do this research. He couldn't. That was his friend. They were friends. They were really weird. Really weird to have a lawyer go on live with Sabrina Peterson and say, thank you. You're my friend. You've poured so much into me. Like, it's weird to me to know that there's a lawyer out there that's helping victims that doesn't have a sense of boundaries, that doesn't understand what boundaries are, that connects with people here online. It's so weird. You guys, the stories that I have heard, but you know what? I'm going to say allegedly, and in my opinion, Tyrone Blackburn has a bigger issues, like running over a process server. That's a bigger thing that he has to deal with. So I don't know how much I believe as far as what Sabrina has said here, as far as their son goes. I need more concrete information at this point. We're at the time where we can't be like playing games with people and putting shit out there and think that people aren't going to double check this, right? Just my opinion. My opinion, my friends, my opinion. But that's giving you the rundown. Now let's talk about another gross, disgusting man that people don't really want to talk about too much, because some of you guys think he's like good looking. I don't know, like something about the blue eyes and the hair and the yes, very much so. Something about that. I don't know. People get taken away with that. Oh my God, he would never. He's got this like Leonardo DiCaprio complex to him. They would never do anything, right? So there's some allegations that came out. Now I missed this because we were in the Diddy versus Diddy trial, right? Jared Leto is up doing his tour. Now, I had only known of one victim that spoke against Jared Leto. Do y'all remember him? Mm-hmm. You said he looks gross. Some of you guys like that. Some of you guys said that he was eye candy. He's got a little bit of a cult following. I have to be careful because if people do come in here and say, you're such a hater. It's like the lies that they tell. I'm like, I'm a hater? What does him being cute have anything to do with the shit that he's being accused of? You know, there you go. The first TBF boy crush. Everybody had a crush on Jared Leto. Come on now. Come on now. But you know what? We grow up. We grow up from it. You know, you always thought he was weird. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this. And by the way, I'll be doing something separate with Tiny and Ti. Like I said, I've had so many videos from Tiny Ti. There's a whole playlist. Back then, I didn't even show my face. I had to be careful with my language because, you know, I was still working for the government. I hadn't left my job. I wasn't, you know, I didn't have Baby Bunny yet. So it was a different kind of rabbit back then. But now that I'm employed by nobody but myself, it's a little bit different. So yes. So you just said, hey, everybody, just for Leto, sadly, they named the older millennial / Gen X age gap, the Cantilano, wasn't it? That was the, what was that one show with Claire Danes? I forgot, y'all. Like I was too young for this show. I was way too young, but I remember the show. And I think I watched a couple of episodes. So anyways, so he was kind of like the heartthrob. So Jared Leto continues on with his band 30 Seconds to Mars Summer World Tour in the wake of the misconduct allegations against him. Now, like I said, I only knew of one person, but I guess My So-Called Life. Thank you. This one. I think I only watched a couple episodes of it. This one right here, I only knew of like one victim, but I guess there's multiple victims. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this. So apparently, Leto 53 and 30 Seconds to Mars perform in front of the jam-packed festival audience in I-Days 2025 in Milan. So he's in Italy, okay? Now, he's facing a lot of allegations, no criminal charges yet that we know of. On Wednesday, Leto and his rock group perform a selection of their biggest hits. I don't know any of their hits because I don't listen to his music at all. But apparently, Air Mail published an expose in June over allegations that Leto acted inappropriately with 9 women. 9 women, guys. We're going to talk about all these people. Let's talk about all of them, right? Because what I notice is that we emphasize only on Diddy when we really should be talking about Mike Jeffries and his little ass and the fact that he's incompetent. Bullshit. Here's another one. We got to talk about all of them. Why are we talking about just one specific? Oh, Diddy. Did you hear what Diddy did with the baby oil and all these things? Okay, they're all over the place. They're all over the place. So let's talk about all of them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay? The report include allegations from unnamed women who claim that Leto approached her at Los Angeles cafe to ask her for her phone number. She was 16 years old. This one involved a minor, 16 years old. Okay? She recalled their alleged phone conversation saying, I don't know if he was on rugs or what. It was the weirdest, grossest voice. But for me, it's Jared, you know? And I had bookmarked, before the expose, I had bookmarked some stuff on Jared Leto because a little birdie, you guys know I talk to people, a little birdie, you know, I got people and have people that I talk to in the industry, believe it or not. I don't ever say it, but I do. A little birdie told me that there was an expose coming through. Well, during the time I had bookmarked this, I want to say maybe 4 months ago before the trial started. They said there's going to be some stuff coming on Jared Leto, just so you're aware and you start doing your homework on it now. So I had bookmarked some stuff and I only knew of a model who at the time was 16 years old. I didn't know about 9 other women. So this was news to me. This was news to me. Absolutely. You said, please stop asking to let you know in the comments of what we think. And you don't care because you don't read them. Getting old commenting. DJ See No Evil, I can't read all the comments. I figured since there's other people in the comments that you would be able to have a conversation with other people. This is why I tell you, hey, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I can't stop and read 1,000 comments. It would be impossible. But do me a favor. Don't comment if you don't want to. Thank you. Okay. You said, I was a fan when I was 14 and met him at a gig. He gave me a creepy vibe then, and I was never a fan after that. Really, Jalisa? That's so interesting. So a lot of people, this has been the theme that I was hearing. You know what I mean? There it is. This one right here. This one. Research Jared Leto and Alessandro Michel. The streets say there's a tag team. And he's got like a little... I don't know if he's the one. That might be confusing him with another person, but there's like a church thing going on. It might be another like 90s heartthrob, that there's a church situation going on. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, I can't read every comment, but let me know what you think. You said, I suspect that over 50% of the industry is probably guilty of essays. Remember how we had the newscasters been accused of it? Really, Joyce? That's interesting. Okay. So we got to look into that a little bit more. I'm definitely going to do that. Now, I got to talk to you guys about something. I wasn't sure how credible this was, but then other people that I talked to let me know that this is something that's going down. Justin Bieber turning to Britney Spears for emotional support amid conservatorship concerns. The wifey that he's with right now, I think she's suspect, guys. The wifey what's her name? I can't keep up. The wifey, she's suspect to me. To me, she gives me this. She gives me this. Thank you, Pinche Becky. I would comment about that comment, but you don't read the comments, so no comment. I love that. Haley. Yeah. Don't be surprised if this man is another situation. Like, don't be surprised if we find him in another situation where #free Justin Bieber. That's what's going to happen. I don't know. I feel like we're watching this kind of play out right before our eyes. Wendy Williams, for example. So Calvin Hunter sues the Guardian, Sabrina Morsi. What did Wendy Williams say? She came back and she said, that's a money grab. That's a money grab. He wasn't really in it for me. He's not that's a money grab situation. Some people feel like, well, he's fighting for his wife. He's doing his best. Some people don't feel like that. Some people feel like there's something more nefarious going on in the background, or he's out of money, and so he's wanting to sue Sabrina Morsi for it. I have a lot of questions about that. I do. But are we going to find Justin Bieber in that situation? So apparently he reaches out to Britney Spears out of concern for being in a conservatorship. Britney Spears out of everyone, right? Out of everyone. Are we going to see this man in a situation as such? He said there's a source that's saying he's terrified that he's about to be placed under a conservatorship just like Britney Spears. Sources say he's turning to the pop princess herself for emotional support. Justin is in a total panic mode right now. He's ranting that nobody understands what he's going through. What do you guys think? She was stalking him. We all know. Well, why? Like, what was that one movie? Excuse me, not that one movie. The song from Sade. I caught this early on. This was months ago before the Diddy trial, right? He was doing his IG lives. Justin was doing, and he called her a Jezebel. He called Haley a Jezebel out of the lyrics of that song. Was he set up to marry this woman? I don't know. Was that like a setup to a situation? I don't know. It makes you wonder. It does. And it's really sad because he's a father too. You know what I mean? But I do feel like he is getting kind of targeted in a way that some of us will probably not really understand until it's a little too late, if that makes sense. Something's up with that, but it's suspect. But I'm going to wait for more, because I like to wait for more concrete legal stuff to come through. But it wouldn't surprise me if she does kind of get connected to people and whatnot. And speaking of that, oh, baby buddy's yelling. What about TriStar? Now that the trial is over, what about TriStar? What happens to that business? Are they still going to be used? Are people still going to hire them? And I think every time, I can't help but wonder, every time I think about celebrity conservatorships, I think about TriStar. You said he's broke, apparently? Really? Isn't that what they said about Britney Spears too? And then all this shit kind of went down? Isn't that what they say? Oh, you're broke. We need to make sure. Isn't that the narrative that they put out there? So and so is broke. We need to tag her into a conservatorship. So and so is broke. That's pay attention, guys. This is why some of you guys in the comments were getting at me during the Diddy trial. Why do you watch TMZ? You have to keep an eye out on TMZ. Because I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but it seems to me that TMZ, and this is my opinion, my speculation, I have no facts whatsoever. It's an opinion, okay? TMZ is always in the middle of everything when it comes to these celebrities, especially if they have money. Initially, what? Oh, we're for push the conservatorship. They were for it. Then they flipped it. And then when they see Britney Spears dancing with knives or whatever the hell she's doing, whatever it may be, twirling and twerking, however the hell she wants to, because she can. She's not poking the knife at anybody. I don't see her cutting herself or anything like intentionally doing something where it's like, oh my God, let me figure it out. No, I don't see her doing that. But immediately you got Dr. Charles Sophie, the dealer of the people that he was the head of DHS in Los Angeles, and then somehow he got removed from that position. That's not a coincidence, guys. His son mysteriously disappears, gets put into some kind of a treatment center. It's a lot of shit behind the scenes with that guy. And then there's TMZ. What does TMZ do? They call Dr. Charles Sophie. Hey, what do you think about Britney Spears? Put her back on medication. If she doesn't want it, we'll inject her with it. When these two guys, Harvey and Dr. Charles Sophie, look so weird. They just look so weird in the eyes, like they've been up all night on something. Something's up. So pay attention. I don't watch TMZ just for the enjoyment. I watch it because I feel like they always know a lot and they always know what to insert. And they're suddenly somehow right at the scene. Help me understand. How is it? It does not escape me. Gina's coming out of a Whole Foods out of Las Vegas and TMZ just happens to be outside. Hi, Gina. How are you? Good. Didn't she look like she had the space of like, maybe she's been compromised a bit? Yeah. I'm okay, guys. I'm okay. Okay. So what do you think about the Diddy trial? No, nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't think anything. Okay. What do you think? Diddy's dangerous? No, he's not. He never did anything to me. Then she walks to her car. Gina looks like a regular schmegular person. I wouldn't even have recognized that was Gina outside of the Whole Foods. It's weird. It's weird how that happened. Sweet, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, hey, Rabbit, do you think the judge can give Diddy 20 years instead of just the 5 years the prosecution stated? The question is the judge going to give Diddy that? I don't know if that is the case. It's up to the judge's discretion, I guess. We don't know. We won't find out until October 3rd, guys. There is a status conference kind of meeting, I guess, that they're going to have. And Shauna B, thank you so much for being a member for 23 months. I'm so sorry I missed you. Thank you, love, for supporting my channel. Thank you. I think it's up to the judge. I mean, it was up to the judge's discretion whether to release him on bail or not. He made that call right away. He used whether you guys like it or not, the defense's own statements to make his decision. There's a lot of things that were not refuted from that. Okay. A lot. He did all that. So who knows? I would suggest that Diddy be on his best behavior when it comes to this. He could say, I don't think he's going to give him 20 years. I don't. I think he might give him 3 to 4, 3 to 5. I'm thinking 3 to 4. I'm just saying in my mind, I don't think he's going to do that. I don't. But we won't find out until October. And we'll definitely be live streaming that too. Because I'm kind of wondering. I just don't think that he will. It's his first offense. He doesn't have to align himself to what the jury is saying, but he could use the evidence to what, or even there's a lot of things that he could use to kind of make the argument as to why he needs to be behind bars. The people that are writing letters, I think that he's also valuing those letters, right? but I don't think he's going to get 20 years. I don't know, especially with this being the first technical offense, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think so. And then there's time served too. You know, you said the prosecutor recommended like 60 months. Yeah, 67. He won't get that. I don't think he will, Jaleesa. I don't at all. Yeah. So it's his first offense. So they're gonna definitely consider that. Now, this is the question that people have to wonder: are there going to be additional charges that will be coming through? That's really what it is. Like, are there going to be additional charges? Ask yourselves that question, because people are putting that out there, but I haven't seen anything concrete to say, oh yeah, California's coming or so and so is coming. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hey, happy 4th of July. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. You guys are amazing. I have a list somewhere around here. I had to listen. I had to move my desk and clean deeply because I hadn't moved I tend to move my desk every 30 days. 2 months of not moving my desk, there was just so much cleaning I had to do. So I'm gonna be hanging the green screen, so that's gonna come down. I definitely want to do a little celebration because we hit some milestones on our channel. So we might do that this weekend. So stay tuned, have your notifications on, and I'll be dropping some videos over the weekend, more so on the true crime too, because I know I do expose Hollywood, but we're gonna do Barry Morphew. I'm already collecting a lot of videos, so expect those. But hey, stay tuned. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button. Bye, guys. Love you guys. Bye, bye, bye.